Amber Foster. I'm one of the counselors here at the high school.
I'm Amanda Shover, and I'm the elementary school counselor.
I'm Kimberly Miller, and I'm one of the counselors at the high school.
And we are having a book discussion today about no drama discipline and a summary of our parent engagement.
And I wanted to start off with just talking about, it was actually the conclusion of the book, and it was talking about 4 hopes for parents. And the first one was there's no magic wand for parenting, which may sound kind of cliche-ish, but a lot of times I think as parents we really try to be perfect, and there's no perfect, we know in reality there's no perfect parent, but we're so, I think, sometimes overcritical of ourselves or comparing ourselves. So I loved how he put that as a hope for parents. And then I actually also, a couple of other hopes, one that I thought was really important too is that even if we make mistakes as parents, our children are going to benefit from our mistakes because it allows us an opportunity to show them how to apologize and how to right a relationship, and it's really helpful in teaching them relationship skills.
I love that because it shows them that we're humans too.
And I've apologized to my son before and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake about that." And he's like, "That's okay, Mom. You know, we all make mistakes." And I feel like it's so important for me to show my son, even though he's just 8, that we all make mistakes, and it's how we handle them and how we react to them that's important, and how we build and learn from them instead of, being perfect, which is not attainable. So,
And I think that will help them as they get older and they're in school, and because sometimes when you're trying to make a certain grade, you have that need to want to be perfect, but it allows them to see, hey, it's okay to make mistakes, and we're human. And he also shares that it's never too late to make a positive change. One of the things he refers to is a term called neuroplasticity, and it talks about how our brain is constantly making new pathways, and so each new experience, and the more parents practice the relationship skills, whether it's use of I feel statements or apologizing, then they're going to learn those good experiences as they grow older.
they will do what we do, even the things that we don't want them to do, but they will model after us without us having to teach them that or tell them that. So it's a really good point.
And I think we can just start with chapter 1. I just wanted to start with those 4 hopes in the conclusion because I thought they were really important. For chapter 1, the title is Rethinking Discipline, and Dr. Siegel talks about how the no drama discipline approach is focused on both short-term as well as long-term. The short-term behavior, but also in the long-term, trying to create those new experiences and teach new skills. So it's kind of both short-term and long-term. And he talks about for autopilot in an airplane, it's great. It's a great tool. But for parenting, if you or go on autopilot, it's not very helpful. You may run into a storm. So one of his main points is to try to be more intentional and responsive versus reactive. So he talks about that some.
I think as teachers too, I know in the classrooms, we've had those conversations too. How should we respond rather than react, and just taking that emotion out of it.
Yes.
Helps with that. And it's hard.
It's hard.
Difficult.
I was going to say, it's really hard.
It's very difficult.
Especially when you're in that moment and you have that emotion. Adults and children alike, they have feelings and they're just strong sometimes, and it's really hard.
I really like this graphic on page 143. It's showing 2 contrasting pictures. The top one, it looks like the little girl has stolen something, and Mom is sort of towering over her, and she's angry, and she's saying, "I can't believe you took these, go to your room." So she's immediately giving her a consequence. In the second picture, she kind of gets down on her daughter's level, and she's eye to eye, face to face, and she's saying, "Can you tell me about these?" So she is initiating a conversation. And I think, this first graphic really, with mom being so angry, it just teaches kids to hide things from us and keep secrets.
Another acronym for redirect. We can just kind of go through what each letter stands for. The R stands for reduce words. And he talks about how a lot of times kids already know what they've done wrong, but being able to just gentle so that they can talk to you about what they did, and then you can kind of reason, and helps them to get, I guess, in the upstairs brain to be able to listen and relate.
I mentioned it back in, I believe in chapter 1 too, where it says, don't talk too much, don't say too many words. And I know I struggle with that. I picked up on several of those points, those bullet points, instead of lecturing, ask the questions and then keep it short. And so I really struggle with that. I think that if I don't say all that I'm going to say in lecture and I don't get all my time in, then they won't learn.
Well, Ms. Foster, there's a graphic for this too. I don't
Thank
know
you.
if you noticed this,
Thank you.
so at the top we have a parent going on and on and on and on, and what the child hears is blah, 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 blah. So I really love this quote. I think it's Maya Angelou who said, people will always forget what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
so
love that quote.
this child is not going to remember a word that dad said, but he will remember how the conversation made him feel. So maybe the child did something wrong, maybe he needed to be talked to, but at the end of the conversation, the child still needs to feel loved and safe.
And back to what you said, Ms. Foster, though, I think that's kind of a time where we can also give ourselves grace as parents, because I think it's coming from love that it's our emotion, but also that we're just passionate, about something too, that we feel like we just really want our child to learn, and it's important.
I think sometimes too, it's selfishly. I know I have lots to say, but I want it done my way, and so I really do try to work on that. I know it's hard to imagine because I still have lots of words, but I do try to work on that. So I think that's great.
The E in redirect is for embrace emotions, and I like how he